Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong, and I have some fun packs to share. This is the journal that I've made with my fun pack. You might remember that I talked about using really junky items to create a beautiful junk journal. Well, let me show you what's in this pack. I've continued to add to it. There are a lot of fun things in here. I have 10 available. The first thing I'm going to do is show you what's in the pack so that if you want one, you can buy it. I only have 10. And then I'll come back and show you the journal. First of all, let me say that everything is in here sort of randomly. Each pack has got this huge envelope that is pretty amazing. I may put everything in this envelope to mail it. I'm not sure yet. It's going to depend on the location of the buyer. Sometimes I have to jump up to a flat rate box because honestly, postage is a little bit expensive. Each one also has one of these large legal size file folders. I love these manila folders. They are excellent to use for junk journal covers. If you're going to sew on top of them, you can make pockets. I love to use my punches to punch out tags with these too. They're great for so many things. But let's just roll through this pack and see what's in here. And again, it's all in here kind of at random. Each one has one of these beautiful vintage postage stamps. These have the pretty birds on them. They're 5 cents each. I'm not sure what year that is. I do think they're older. I think it says Audubon American Artist. Anyway, so each one has a stamp in one of those little envelopes. Here is a piece of paper cut from one of the background pages that I've had on my desk. Here is a card that has one of the first ladies on it. I had a whole deck of these, and for these packs, what I did was go with the older cards. I love the vintage images. There are some pages from a beautiful book with a lot of sayings and quotations about love. Beautiful illustrations. All of these will be at random, but I do like to pull out the really pretty images to put into the packs. And I just use what's there, so each one's going to be random. Each pack has a piece of this fabric, which is so pretty. It's what I used to go on the outside of my journal, and I'm going to be sharing a video soon of how I made this journal. This piece of fabric's pretty large. You can tell by looking. It's about 12 by 18, something like that. Cotton, just really pretty fabric. Each one has a page from a vintage music book. Each kit has 3 pages from a vintage book about flowers. And then each pack has a piece of this fabric that has been on my desk and is really grungy. This is a heavy sort of canvasy fabric. And the size on this, what is that? About 8 by 18 or 19, something like that. Each one has a couple of note cards, which are great for writing and, just taking notes in your junk journal. Each one has a few of these. I guess there's 5 envelopes. It's this, it's not cellophane. What is this called? Glassine, I think. The 8 by 11 or 8 by 10 glassine bags. I love to fold these and use these as envelopes for things in my junk journals. These kits have some really pretty paper. Each one has a piece of this botanical paper, 8.5 by 11, and then a few sheets of this vintage graph paper. There's 3 there. Each one has a really pretty card that someone took. There was just hundreds of these, and I bought a few. Whoever took these, they documented their trip with where they were, so many beautiful garden images. And again, those will be at random. There's a small envelope there. They are always fun to use. Each one has a postcard sort of along this line. You see the leaves, you see the lady, the shape of the bird. And then here are a couple of little clear folders. You know what I'm saying, like little envelopes, but they are nice though for putting things into. you know, like this postcard, for example. If you want to protect something. Each one has one of these like wildflower postcards, and each one has a vintage envelope from this business, Connery Photography in Durham. There's just a little blank piece of paper. There is a pretty card. I think this was probably with some sort of invitation set where you print invitations to send out. There's a vintage Holly Hobby, one of the little tri-fold. What did we call these? Arrow things? What? Oh my goodness. We talked about these recently. Aerograms or something. Okay, this definitely was some sort of little place card setting or whatever, but there's a lot in here that's botanical. You could tie a ribbon between, you know, in these two holes punched there. You don't have to do that. So each one has a greeting card. I can't remember if they're all the same or if they are varied, but you'll get a card with an envelope. Each one has a piece of this vintage wrapping paper that's botanical. Now here are a couple of more pieces of sort of graph paper. This is not as vintagey as the other. Still very cool. And I kind of like the way this ink runs sometimes if you get it wet. Some papers do that and some don't. That's a very lightweight piece of paper, and so is this. Really fun to use for pages. And then we have 3 pieces of paper that were torn out of a composition book. Someone has written in this, a little student, my imaginary friend would be named Dice. It would be playful and artistic. We would explore the forest and go on hikes. We would love the sunny weather. It would be 7 years old. It would like to write poetry too. Its birthday would be March 21st, and this is Dice. So each pack has a page from this composition book that was written in. They're all going to be different, so but they're all fun. Here is a page that I tea stained. Each one has one of those. Each pack has a page from a vintage calendar, or it's like 2000s, so I shouldn't say vintage, older calendar. And it's got the really pretty matte paper. Each one is going to have 5 of these vintage library card catalog cards. They're always fun. A couple of journal cards. These are like, what do you call them? Project Life cards. And a couple of little tags, or it looks like 3 here. You see, you can punch the holes out. These are sale tags. And then a piece of this craft paper, torn from probably a bag or something. A bingo card. And a divider card for index box cards. They'll be all different letters. And then here we have 3 really pretty playing cards. Now they're glossy and they're newer, but they're so beautiful. I was really happy to find this deck of cards. I had one few years ago, and I ended up using all of those cards in the packs of playing cards that I send out from my Etsy shop. And those have been relisted, by the way. Really pretty cards here. So this is from a set of botanical cards, different plants, and it tells about the plants. I know that's chicory, one of my favorite plants. Absolutely love it. And let's see, more. These are trading cards, probably from, well, this one is, if they're blank on the back, late 40s or 50s. Beautiful botanical image, and then a couple of vintage playing cards. Some are the same, some are different, but they're all like the same. They're the same type, if you know what I mean. This is a piece that was cut out of the calendar where they show all of the different images. Now, I might switch this up with another pack because, my dear friends, I tried to keep each pack to where you got a couple of different cards. There we go. So let's do that instead of you having the same 2 images. All right, here is another beautiful postcard. Some of these are, a lot of these are vintage. Some are older than others, and they will vary. They're all one of a kind. I don't know if everybody has a piece of lace. This has wandered into here, so we're just going to leave it there. I don't remember putting that in there. Here are your two large. These are like 12 by 8 or so. Why don't I just measure? 9. Okay, 12 by 9. With the metal tabs. These are awesome to use as journal covers. You can see what I did with mine. I cut 6 inches across and then used the rest for the back, which allowed it to hang over just a little bit. It's perfect. I love the way it turned out. Each one has a large map page. I love these. These are vintage. This is 1972. I tore mine apart to make book pages. And then here's a piece of paper. Oh, what was this made from? This is a really sort of flimsy, delicate, it's got all the fibers in it. Some sort of handmade paper. I think it had a name though, and I don't remember. And then one of these large sheets of really lightweight paper. Is that a vellum or something? But I thought it would be fun to use part for a book page and then use the rest for collage because you can see through it. And I think with just the right thing, that would be really cool. Each pack has a beautiful page of this cardstock and then a strip of this wonderful paper, computer paper. It's perforated here. So, you know, you're going to get this size piece. And it's so much fun to make these book pages that are going to be shorter than the other pages. Or make a small journal. And then each one has 3 ounces of this really pretty, nice weight. It's not quite cardstock, but it's nice and heavy. This cream color paper, which I used to make journal pages. So that's the pack. There is a lot in there. And, you know, I hate to say this, but you are helping me out tremendously when you shop with me right now because of my daughter's injury and the fact that really everyone has had to lose work hours to take care of her. So I just can't express enough how I appreciate everyone's support. It has meant the world to me. Beyond this or any type of purchase, and most importantly, all of the prayers and the emotional encouragement that you've given me. That has been tremendous. So let me show you this journal that I made for myself. I absolutely love it. I was tempted to just go crazy and use all of the leftovers and go ahead and try to complete it, but I don't want to do that because this is what I'm going to be working in every day. I have a drawer over here to my right that's got the leftovers, and that's going to allow me to journal every day and just, you know, do as many videos as I can and keep you updated on this journal. I've got the brad that I poked through the outside of mine, and I have this little washer that says destination. And that was covered up with the fabric on the inside. Again, I'm going to show you how I did the binding for this in another video. Got the beautiful stenciling, and you know, I've just already using some tape here because you know I got the pages wet and tore it a little bit. This one's got 3 signatures. Everything in here came from the kit, except the ink that I've used, of course. And we've got these beautiful large pockets. This is going to be my daily journal that I use. And so it's got a lot of room. All 3 of these signatures were put in different ways. And I'm going to try to show you that and explain it when I put up the video of how I made the journal. In the meantime, though, what I'm really trying to do here is just share what you can make from the kit. Oh, so there's the page that I had that was written on. Here is another one of these glassine pockets. So I'm going to be able to put things. Is that it? That's not it. Where is it? Right here. I'll be able to store things in here, and I'm probably going to cut, you know, either here or along here to have a pocket on the back. So we are coming to the end of the first signature, and then here's the second one. And my really sort of crazy binding. I love it though. I stitched across the bottom of this. I cut the big envelope in half, and I'm just using the top part to make another pocket. And I sewed across the bottom to keep it closed, which I really love. I decided to go with black thread. Haven't used black in a while, so I took all of the white thread out of my sewing machine and switched to black. But let's just move through here quickly because it's pretty much the same paper and pages. There's that beautiful cardstock, the decorative cardstock. And I'm a little annoyed with myself that I did not get all of the pages to, when I sort of stacked the pages, get them to fall to the bottom. I was a little bit careless with this center one, but it's still okay. There we go. And then this last signature, I love the black and white here. And I love the way this turned out. So I took one of the envelopes in the kit and folded it backwards, glued this side down, so I've got a little pocket here, folded the flap over, which left this adhesive part. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to wet that with some water, which I did. And then I took a pretty napkin and laid it down on the top until it dried. Well, not completely, because napkins tear really good when they're wet. But, I wanted it to stick really good before I started to tear away what wasn't stuck to the adhesive strip. And this is what was left. So I used a text stamp to use the blue ink and stamp there. And just, let's see, more pages and probably more accidental glue spots, knowing how I am. This is giving me a lot of space to work, though, and to continue to add ephemera, rusty washers, feathers, things that I find, notes about, day-to-day life, appointments, things like that. I've been wanting to make a new journal to carry with me every day since I've, started back at the scrap exchange. And life is always changing. There have been times where I've had little planners and have just, I think sometimes life tells us, well, always life tells us what is best for us to use. So that is that journal, and you can make one of these with the kit. I have 10 of these. They're currently listed. The price includes shipping. United States only, because I just cannot ship international right now. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back really soon. Bye for now.